International Women's Day is celebrated on March 8 every year. It commemorates the movement for women's rights. March 8 was suggested in the year 1910 by International Socialist Women's Conference to become an International Women's Day. After women gained suffrage in Soviet Russia in 1917, March 8 became a national holiday there. The day was then predominantly celebrated by the socialist movement and communist countries until it was adopted in 1975 by the United Nations. In this video, we will take a look on why we celebrate International Women's Day. To understand why it all started, we need to go back to the year 1910. In August 1910, an International Socialist Women's Conference was organized to precede the General Meeting of the Socialist Second International in Copenhagen, Denmark. Inspired in part by the American socialists, German socialist Louis Zeitz proposed the establishment of an annual Women's Day and was seconded by fellow socialist and later communist leader Clara Zetkin, supported by Kate Dunker, although no date was specified at that conference. Delegates of 100 women from 17 countries agreed with the idea as a strategy to promote equal rights, including suffrage for women. The following year, on March 19, 1911, International Women's Day was marked for the first time by over 1 million people in Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland. In the Austro-Hungarian Empire alone, there were 300 demonstrations. In Vienna, women paraded on the Ringstrasse and carried banners honoring the martyrs of the Paris Commune. Women demanded that they be given the right to vote and to hold public office. They also protested against employment sex discrimination. The Americans continued to celebrate National Women's Day on the last Sunday in February. Female members of the Australian Builders Labour's Federation marched on International Women's Day 1975 in Sydney. In 1913, Russian women observed their first International Women's Day on the last Saturday in February. On March 8, 1917, in the capital of the Russian Empire, Petrograd, women textile workers began a demonstration covering the whole city. This marked the beginning of the Russian Revolution. Women in St. Petersburg went to strike that day for bread and peace, demanding the end of World War I, an end to Russian food shortages, and the end of Caesarism. Leon Trotsky wrote, 23rd February was International Women's Day and meetings and actions were foreseen. Following the October Revolution, the Bolshevik Alexandra Kolontai and Vladimir Lenin made it an official holiday in the Soviet Union, but it was a working day until 1965. On May 8, 1965, by the decree of the USSR Presidium of the Supreme Soviet, International Women's Day was declared a non-working day in USSR in commemoration of the outstanding merits of Soviet women in communistic construction, in the defense of their fatherland during the Great Patriotic War, in their heroism and selflessness at the front and in the rear, and also marking the great contribution of women to strengthening friendship between peoples and the struggle for peace. But still, Women's Day must be celebrated as are other holidays. From its official adoption in Soviet Russia following the revolution in 1917, the holiday was predominantly celebrated in communist countries and by the communist movement worldwide. It was celebrated by the communists in China from 1922. After the founding of the People's Republic of China on October 1, 1949, the State Council proclaimed on December 23 that March 8 would be made an official holiday with women in China given a half day off. The United Nations began celebrating International Women's Day in the International Women's Year, 1975. In 1977, the United Nations General Assembly invited member states to proclaim March 8 as for women's rights and world peace. So to summarize it all, started in the year 1910 from few women with their hardships, which turned to a revolution around the world and is now commemorated as International Women's Day.